Good morning, everyone. At some point in your life, someone looked at you and said, "You can't do it." Maybe they didn't say it outright. Maybe it was in the way they dismissed your ideas, the way they laughed at your dreams, the way they told you to be realistic. And maybe for a moment, you believed them. Doubt is powerful. When people tell us we're not good enough, not smart enough, not talented enough, we start to wonder if they're right. We start to see obstacles instead of opportunities, reasons to quit instead of reasons to keep going. And here's the dangerous part. Most people never break free from that doubt. They accept it. They shrink their dreams down to a size that feels safe. They stop pushing themselves because somewhere along the way, someone convinced them they weren't capable. But here's the truth. The only person who gets to decide what you're capable of is you. The world is full of people who will doubt you. That's not going to change. People doubt what they don't understand. They doubt what they've never seen before. They doubt what they could never do themselves. And that's the key. When someone tells you that your dream is impossible, they're not talking about you. They're talking about themselves. Every person who has ever achieved something great has faced doubt. Every entrepreneur, every artist, every athlete, every leader, at some point, someone told them it couldn't be done. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for television. Imagine if they had believed the people who doubted them. Imagine if they had let someone else define their potential. They didn't prove people wrong by arguing. They didn't waste time trying to convince others. They just did the work. They showed up day after day and let their actions speak for them. That's what proving people wrong is about. It's not about revenge. It's not about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right. It's about refusing to accept the limits that other people try to place on you. It's about making the choice every single day to push forward even when no one believes in you yet. And make no mistake, this is a choice. It's not something that just happens. It's something you have to decide. Because proving people wrong isn't about one big moment. It's not about a single achievement that silences the critics. It's about consistency. It's about showing up when no one is watching. It's about putting in the work when no one is clapping for you. Most people fail not because they aren't talented, but because they stop. They listen to the voices that tell them it's not worth it. They give up too soon. The ones who succeed, they're the ones who keep going. They're the ones who take every doubt, every rejection, every failure, and use it as fuel. And here's the best part. One day, the same people who doubted you will ask you how you did it. They'll act as if they always believed in you, but by then, it won't matter. Because by then, you will have realized that you were never doing it for them. You were doing it for you. So when someone tells you that you can't, smile. Because they just handed you the greatest motivation you'll ever need. And when the time comes, when you succeed in ways they never imagined, you won't have to say a word. Your success will say everything for you. Doubt is one of the most powerful forces in the world. It has the ability to shape our choices, define our potential, and dictate the direction of our lives. The problem is, most of the time, the doubt we carry doesn't even belong to us. It comes from other people, their fears, their insecurities, their failures, projected onto us. And without realizing it, we internalize those doubts as if they are our own. We take on the weight of someone else's limitations and make decisions based on their fears rather than our own possibilities. Think about it. How many times have you had an idea, a dream, a goal, only to hear someone say, "That's not realistic," or "That's not possible," or "You don't have what it takes"? And how many times have those words made you stop and question yourself? Maybe they had a point, you thought. Maybe you weren't ready. Maybe it was too risky. Maybe it wasn't for you. That hesitation, that pause, is what kills more dreams than failure ever could. Because once doubt takes root in your mind, it grows, it gets stronger. It starts to sound like your own voice, and eventually you stop trying altogether. But here's the truth most people never realize. When someone doubts you, they are not defining your limits, they are revealing their own. Their words are not a reflection of your ability, your talent, or your potential. Their words are a reflection of their experiences, their fears, their mindset. When someone tells you that something is impossible, what they really mean is that they can't imagine it, that they wouldn't take the risk, that they don't believe they could do it. And instead of admitting that, they project their fear onto you. This is why you have to be incredibly careful about whose doubts you listen to. Most of the time, people are not trying to hurt you when they express doubt. They think they are protecting you. They think they are giving you good advice. They think they are helping you avoid failure, disappointment, or embarrassment. But what they don't realize is that by doing so, they are holding you back from something far worse, never even trying. History is filled with people who were told they couldn't do something. Innovators, artists, athletes, entrepreneurs, all of them were doubted at some point. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper because he was told he lacked creativity. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. If they had listened to the people who doubted them, we wouldn't know their names today. The difference between them and everyone else wasn't talent, it wasn't luck, it was their ability to separate someone else's doubt from their own reality. The biggest challenge in proving people wrong isn't about skill, intelligence, or even resources. It's about mindset. It's about learning to recognize doubt for what it is. Someone else's fear dressed up as advice. It's about understanding that when people tell you something is impossible, they are revealing the limits of their imagination, not yours. And when you start to see it that way, doubt loses its power over you. It no longer feels personal. It no longer feels like proof that you're not good enough. It simply becomes background noise that you can tune out. This doesn't mean that you should ignore feedback or constructive criticism. There is a difference between someone doubting you and someone guiding you. The key is to know who you are listening to. Are they speaking from experience or are they speaking from fear? Are they someone who has done what you're trying to do? Or are they someone who has never even attempted it? There's a saying that you should never take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from. The same applies to doubt. If the person doubting you has never pushed themselves beyond their own comfort zone, why should their opinion shape your future? One of the most freeing realizations you can have is that other people's opinions do not determine your destiny. Just because someone believes you can't do something doesn't mean it's true. The only thing that matters is what you believe. And belief isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. Every time you take action despite doubt, every time you push forward even when someone tells you to quit, you strengthen that belief. You prove to yourself that you are capable, that you are resilient, that you are more than the limits others try to place on you. Most people never even try to prove others wrong because they spend their lives seeking validation. They want approval, they want reassurance that they're on the right path. But the need for validation is what keeps people stuck. The moment you stop needing other people to believe in you, the moment you stop waiting for permission, that is the moment you become unstoppable. Because suddenly, the doubt doesn't matter, the rejection doesn't matter, the criticism doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is whether you are willing to keep going. The irony is, the moment you succeed, the same people who doubted you will change their tune. They will act as if they always believed in you. They will ask how you did it. They will want to be associated with your success. And by then, their opinions won't matter at all. Because by then, you will have realized that proving them wrong was never the goal. The real goal was proving to yourself that they were wrong about you all along. Success is built through consistency, not one big moment. It's easy to look at people who have achieved great things and assume that it happened overnight, that they got lucky, that there was a single breakthrough that changed everything. But that's almost never the case. What we see is the highlight reel, the championship win, the big promotion, the moment their name becomes known. What we don't see are the years of effort, the daily grind, the sacrifices, the moments of doubt they had to push through. People love the idea of instant success. It's why we get excited about overnight sensations, viral moments, and people who seem to come out of nowhere. But if you dig deeper, you'll find that behind every overnight success is a story of consistency. The athlete who wins the championship has been training every day for years. The entrepreneur who builds a billion-dollar company has spent countless hours refining their skills, making mistakes and learning from them. The artist who finally gets their big break has been creating in obscurity for a long time. The problem is that most people don't want to put in that kind of work. They want the results, but they don't want the process. They want the reward, but they don't want the discipline. And when things don't happen fast enough, they quit. They assume they're not good enough or that success just isn't meant for them. But the truth is they were simply not consistent enough for long enough. Consistency is not about intensity. It's not about working as hard as possible for a short period of time and then burning out. It's about showing up day after day, even when you don't feel like it. It's about doing the work when no one is watching, when no one is clapping for you, when no one even knows you exist. It's about making small improvements over time that compound into something significant. One of the biggest mistakes people make is underestimating the power of small actions repeated consistently. If you decide to get in shape and go to the gym for 6 hours one day, you won't see much change. If you go for 30 minutes every day for 6 months, you will see a transformation. If you read one book in a day, you might learn something useful, but if you read for 30 minutes every day for a year, your entire perspective will expand. Small things don't seem to matter in the moment, but over time, they make all the difference. The challenge with consistency is that it's not exciting, it's not glamorous, it's not dramatic, it's slow, it's repetitive, it's often boring. And that's why so many people struggle with it. They want excitement. They want instant gratification. They want results now. But success doesn't work like that. It's not one massive effort that changes everything. It's the daily choices that add up over time. The people who succeed are not necessarily the most talented or the most intelligent. They are simply the ones who refuse to stop. They are the ones who keep going when others quit. They are the ones who show up, do the work, and trust that the process will pay off. And eventually, it does. One of the most important things to understand about consistency is that it requires discipline, not motivation. Motivation is unreliable. Some days you'll feel inspired, energized, and ready to take on the world. Other days, you won't. If you rely on motivation, you will only take action when you feel like it, and that means your progress will be inconsistent. But if you develop discipline, you will take action no matter how you feel. You will do what needs to be done, even on the days when you're tired, uninspired, or full of doubt. And that is what separates the successful from the unsuccessful. Discipline is not about forcing yourself to do things you hate. It's about making a commitment to yourself and keeping it. It's about realizing that your future depends on the choices you make today. It's about recognizing that the small daily actions you take or don't take are shaping your life in ways you don't even realize. The most dangerous thing about inconsistency is that it often feels harmless in the moment. Skipping one workout doesn't seem like a big deal. Procrastinating for one day doesn't seem like it will have any lasting impact. But these small choices add up. Success and failure are both the result of accumulated habits. It's not one missed opportunity or one bad decision that ruins people. It's the pattern of decisions over time. If you want to prove people wrong, if you want to succeed at anything, you have to commit to consistency. You have to be willing to do the work even when no one is noticing. You have to trust that small actions repeated over time will lead to big results. You have to let go of the need for instant gratification and embrace the process. Because success is not about talent. It's not about luck. It's not about one big moment that changes everything. It's about showing up day after day, even when nothing seems to be happening, and trusting that every step forward is bringing you closer to where you want to be. The greatest revenge is proving yourself right, not proving others wrong. Many people walk through life carrying the weight of other people's opinions, using doubt as fuel, thinking that the best way to respond to criticism is to make the people who doubted them regret it. But when your focus is on proving others wrong, you give them power over you. You make their words the driving force behind your actions. You turn their skepticism into your motivation, and while that may work for a while, it is not sustainable. Because what happens when you finally achieve what they said you couldn't? What happens when the people who doubted you no longer care, or worse, when they never even notice your success? If you are living your life trying to prove someone else wrong, you will always be chasing external validation, and that is a game you will never win. The only validation that truly matters is your own. The real goal should not be about making others eat their words, but about proving to yourself that you were right all along, that your vision, your ambition, your belief in yourself was justified. Because when you chase your dreams for yourself, when you pursue success because it matters to you, and not because you want to silence your critics, you build something that lasts. You create a foundation that isn't dependent on what other people think, and that kind of motivation is unshakable. People who focus on proving others wrong often find themselves feeling empty when they reach their goals. They spend years working hard, sacrificing, pushing themselves, only to realize that when they finally win, it doesn't feel as satisfying as they expected. Because the truth is, proving someone wrong is not a purpose. It is not a long-term vision. It is a temporary source of energy, and once it runs out, you are left searching for something else to drive you. That is why the most successful people do not waste their time on revenge. They are not concerned with what others think. They are focused on proving themselves right, on building the life they believe in, on doing what matters to them regardless of who supports them or doubts them. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is moving from external motivation to internal motivation. External motivation is when you do something because of outside factors, because someone doubted you, because you want to impress people, because you want recognition. Internal motivation is when you do something because it aligns with who you are, because it fulfills you, because you know deep down that it is what you are meant to do. External motivation fades. Internal motivation lasts. And the moment you stop worrying about proving people wrong and start focusing on proving yourself right, everything changes. When you prove yourself right, you take ownership of your journey. You stop worrying about the opinions of people who do not understand your vision. You stop needing approval from those who were never going to support you in the first place. You stop letting doubt dictate your actions. Instead, you start trusting yourself. You start making decisions based on what is right for you, not based on what will make someone else notice or respect you. And that is when real success happens. Success is not about standing on a stage and saying, "I told you so." It is not about rubbing your achievements in someone's face. It is about looking in the mirror and knowing that you never gave up on yourself, that despite the doubt, despite the criticism, despite the obstacles, you kept going, and that is something no one can take away from you. There will always be people who do not believe in you. There will always be people who underestimate you, who doubt your potential, who try to bring you down. But those people are not the ones living your life. They are not the ones doing the work, making the sacrifices, taking the risks. You are. And that means you are the only one who gets to decide what is possible for you. If you let doubt fuel you, you will always be reacting. You will always be chasing something, always trying to prove something to someone. But if you let belief fuel you, if you trust yourself enough to pursue your dreams for you, then success becomes inevitable. Because you are no longer doing it for them, you are doing it for yourself. And when you do it for yourself, you build something that is not only meaningful, but also lasting. Most people will never understand your journey, and that is okay. They are not supposed to. Your vision is yours. It is not their job to see it. It is not their job to believe in it. That is your job. And the moment you realize that you do not need permission, validation, or approval from anyone, the moment you stop worrying about proving others wrong and start focusing on proving yourself right, that is the moment you become People who doubt you reveal their own limitations, not yours. It's easy to take criticism personally, to feel like someone else's disbelief is a reflection of your own ability. But when someone tells you that you can't do something, they are not defining your potential. They are exposing their own fears, their own insecurities, their own self-imposed limits. They are speaking from their experiences, from what they believe is possible for themselves, not what is actually possible for you. And if you allow their doubt to shape your actions, you are letting their limitations become your own. Think about how often people discourage others based on their own failures. Someone who tried to start a business and failed will say, it's too risky. Someone who never followed their passion will say, be realistic. Someone who settled for less than they wanted in life will say, just be grateful for what you have. They are not giving you advice based on what is possible. They are giving you advice based on what they were willing to attempt. And if you listen to them, you will start to shrink your dreams to fit within the walls of their doubt. The reality is, most people who discourage you are not trying to harm you. They think they are helping. They think they are protecting you from disappointment, from failure, from heartbreak. But in doing so, they are actually holding you back from ever realizing your full potential. Because failure is not what ruins people. Never trying is. Playing it safe, avoiding risks, listening to the voices that tell you to stay small, that is what leads to regret. And the people who tell you to do that are usually the ones who regret not taking those risks themselves. There is a pattern to the way doubt works. The people who have never done what you are trying to do will always be the first ones to tell you it is impossible. The people who have failed without learning from it will be the first ones to warn you not to try. But if you talk to the people who have succeeded, the ones who have built something meaningful, who have achieved what they set out to do, you will notice something different. They will not tell you that you can't do it. They will not say it is impossible. They might tell you it will be hard. They might tell you that it takes time, effort, resilience. But they will never tell you to stop before you start. Because they know what is possible when someone refuses to be limited by doubt. One of the most dangerous things you can do is internalize someone else's skepticism. When you hear people say, that will never work, or you don't have what it takes, or you should just be realistic, your mind starts to absorb those words, and over time you begin to repeat them to yourself. Doubt from the outside world is not nearly as dangerous as the doubt you begin to carry inside. Because once you start to believe that you are not capable, once you start to question your own abilities because of what someone else said, you have already lost. The key to overcoming doubt is understanding where it comes from. When people say something is impossible, they are actually revealing that they don't believe they could do it. When they tell you to be realistic, they are really saying that they were too afraid to take a chance. Their words have nothing to do with you. Their words are about them. And once you see that, once you separate their fears from your own reality, their doubt loses its power over you. This is why you have to be careful about who you listen to. If you want to do something extraordinary, you cannot take advice from people who have only ever done what is ordinary. If you want to break through limits, you cannot listen to people who have spent their entire lives staying inside the lines. You must be selective about whose opinions you allow into your mind. Because the wrong opinions will poison your potential before you even get started. Doubt is loud, but it is rarely accurate. Some of the greatest innovations, the greatest success stories, the greatest achievements in history came from people who were told that what they wanted to do was impossible. If they had listened, the world would not be what it is today. Every person who has ever achieved something significant has had to tune out the noise, ignore the skeptics, and move forward with conviction. They did not waste time trying to change other people's minds. They focused on proving themselves right. When you understand that doubt is more about the person expressing it than it is about you, you become free. You no longer need validation from others. You no longer need approval. You no longer need people to believe in you in order to believe in yourself. And that is the moment when real progress begins. Adversity is the greatest advantage if you know how to use it. Most people see challenges, failures, and setbacks as reasons to quit, as proof that they are not meant to succeed. But the people who achieve great things do not see adversity that way. They see it as fuel. They see every obstacle as an opportunity to get stronger, every failure as a lesson, every setback as a setup for something greater. They understand that the road to success is not smooth, and they do not expect it to be. Instead of avoiding difficulty, they embrace it because they know that the hardest moments are the ones that shape them the most. Every person who has ever done something remarkable has faced opposition. They have been doubted, criticized, underestimated. They have failed, made mistakes, and struggled. But what separates them from everyone else is how they responded. Most people let adversity break them. They take rejection as a final answer. They let failure define them. They use setbacks as excuses to stop. But the people who succeed refuse to let adversity be the end of their story. They do not take failure personally. They do not see rejection as proof that they are not good enough. They see it as part of the process, as something to push through, as something that is making them stronger. Think about the most successful people in any field: athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders. None of them had an easy path. None of them were handed success. They had to fight for it. They had to work through doubt, criticism, and failure. But they did not let those things stop them. They kept going, and because of that, they became unstoppable. One of the most powerful things you can do is reframe the way you see adversity. Instead of seeing difficulty as a reason to stop, see it as proof that you are on the right path. Because if what you are doing is easy, it probably is not worth much. If there is no struggle, no resistance, no challenge, then you are not growing, you are not getting better, you are not pushing yourself beyond what you already know. And that means you are staying the same. Adversity tests you, but it also reveals you. It shows you who you really are. When things get difficult, when nothing is going your way, when you feel like giving up, that is the moment when your true character is revealed. Do you give up, or do you keep going? Do you let failure define you, or do you use it as fuel? Do you listen to the people who doubt you, or do you prove to yourself that they were wrong to underestimate you? People who avoid adversity avoid growth. They stay in their comfort zones, never pushing themselves, never taking risks, never seeing what they are truly capable of. And because of that, they never reach their full potential. They never get to experience the satisfaction of overcoming something difficult, of proving to themselves that they are stronger than they thought. They never know what it feels like to rise after falling, to turn failure into success, to transform doubt into belief. The reason adversity is so powerful is that it forces you to make a choice. When things go wrong, you can choose to let it break you, or you can choose to let it build you. You can choose to use it as an excuse, or you can choose to use it as motivation. You can let it make you bitter, or you can let it make you better. And that choice will determine everything. The people who succeed are not the people who had the easiest path. They are the people who refused to quit when things got hard. They are the people who kept going when no one believed in them. They are the people who saw adversity as an opportunity instead of an obstacle. And because of that, they became stronger, wiser, and more capable than they ever would have been if everything had been easy. When you face adversity, you are given a gift. You are given the chance to prove to yourself what you are made of. You are given the opportunity to develop resilience, to strengthen your mindset, to grow in ways you never would have if things had been smooth. And if you take that opportunity, if you refuse to let adversity stop you, you will become the kind of person who cannot be defeated. Most people will never understand this. They will complain about their struggles, blame their circumstances, and give up at the first sign of difficulty. But the few who understand that adversity is an advantage, that struggle is what makes them strong, those are the people who go on to achieve extraordinary things. Those are the people who turn failure into success, doubt into belief, and setbacks into comebacks. Those are the people who prove to themselves and to the world that nothing can stop them.